All right, it's Experience Life now once again with Prince. I'm excited to have in today's edition. Today is a special edition, special in the sense that I'm going to be switching from our ongoing conversation to a different conversation, and we're going to be doing this from now onwards. Maybe once in a month, we'll switch from the normal conversation to a different conversation. And today, I want to talk about the concept of dating. Okay, last week I shared a video about a lady who made a public video, actually, that she went out on this first date with a guy, and the guy asked her where she saw herself in the next 5 years. And according to her, that question was petty and should not be asked on the first date. So I'm going to talk briefly on that, and if you have not seen the video, I'm going to play the video so that you will get the context of this discussion. But before then, I would like you to do something quickly. If you have not subscribed to this channel, the red button there below this video, press it now so that you stay subscribed. In this channel, what we are doing is to share contents that will help you to enter into the realm of life where you begin to enjoy peace, joy, and a sense of fulfillment on a daily basis. All right, let's see the video now.
God no go shimoso. So I went on a date with this guy, yeah. He's a guy some of you might know, but I won't mention names. It was supposed to be a perfect date. Seaside, candlelight, good food. And we're supposed to try to know each other, like get to know each other. First date now, as courtesy demands. And this guy came up with questions like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I'm like, balance me here real quick. Am I on a date or attending an interview? Like, I don't understand. Guys, you really need to learn the kind of questions you'll be asking. You need to learn the kind of questions you'll be asking on the first date. Then I asked Mr. Man, what's your retirement plan? Let's be petty together now. Me too, I know how to be petty. And so I told my friend, and my friend was like, I felt you shouldn't have done that. Please, have I done anything wrong? If you were in my shoes, what would you do? Girls, what's the weirdest questions you've been asked on a date? Because after that question I asked, we all went our separate ways. And that was it. Tell me, what's the weirdest questions you've been asked? Let's discuss.
Yesterday, a lady made a video speaking of how a guy on the first date was asking her what her plans were for the next 5 years. Let's cut the story. I'm the guy she was referring to. And I am not ashamed to ask you what your plans are for the next 5 years, because I'm only trying to know you. I want a lady that prepares for the future. If you don't plan for the future, you're already planning to fail. And I don't want that for myself or for my family. Let's even know what we are doing before we dabble into anything or get into it. So it's not too much to ask you on the first date, what are your plans for the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself? And then you get angry and walk out on you see yourself. And then you get angry and walk out on the date, you walk out on me. Does that even make sense? I mean, I want to be 70 years old and be living comfortably. I don't want to be asking my children for pocket money. That's not the kind of life I want for myself and my family. No. I want to be able to travel to the Bahamas, to Mauritius, even at an older age with my family and live large. And if we don't plan for it, things will not fall in place. You have to plan. So I'm asking you, what are your plans for the next 5 years? Am I wrong for asking? Is it too much to ask?
So that's the video. Okay. I would like you to share your views and your thoughts with me on the comment box. What do you think? Is it a valid question to ask on a first date? If it's not a valid question, then what's the valid question? And just share your thoughts with me. I would like to know what you think about the whole situation. I got some feedbacks actually last week on the internet, about this whole thing. Very funny ones, really. A guy was like that, with the Nigerian factor, it's not even possible to know where you see yourself next week, much less next 5 years. Okay, very funny. But the point is this: I would still like you to, share your thoughts with me so that we can talk about all of this. Now, the first thing you will see from the video, and please note that I'm not in any way trying to criticize any of the parties. This is not, a video to criticize anyone, but I just want to, pump out one or two things I believe will help you in your own dating escapades. All right. So, one of the things you discover from the video from the two parties is that both of them have a different view of what a dating experience should be, or what a perfect date is all about. Okay, for the guy, it's about getting to know each other, and that means we have to talk real, not just talk real, but we have to talk about ourselves. Okay, so get to know each other means we have to know ourselves, know what we are up to, engage in meaningful conversation, really. But for the lady, it was just, a perfect date is just a time to have fun. She was just looking for a fun time, okay? And that will lead me to say that there are really three kinds of people that you're going to meet on a date, okay? There are three kinds of people when it comes to dating. First of all, note there is really nothing petty about that question of where you see yourself in the next 5 years. There is really nothing petty about it. If anything, what is petty is that you think a perfect date or a date is all about sitting in a restaurant, ordering food, eating, drinking, and just having a nice time. I'm not saying that is not part of it. I mean, that's part of it, but it's not the real thing. Okay, it's just secondary. It's just what you do to create the atmosphere. But the real deal in a real date, okay, is the conversation, is where you two get to interact with each other. So there are three kinds of people you meet. One are those who are dating or who want a date just because they want to have fun. For these people, they just want to sit down in a cool, chilling environment, candlelight, eating, make orders, eat something they've not eaten before, or eat something they would like to eat, their favorite, and stuff like that, have a nice time, that's just fun. That's just their own definition of a date, okay? And for those people, that's all they want, and especially when the bill is on someone else. Okay, when the bill is reading on someone else's account. Then second set of people are the people who want to date because they want to have that feeling of being on a date. Okay, they want to have that feeling of someone finding them attractive, someone wanting to go out on a date with them. And usually this set of people, okay, are looking for a way to meet their temporary needs, or meet their needs temporarily. Okay, sorry about that. They want to meet their needs temporarily, okay? Usually their emotional needs, financial needs, and even sexual needs, okay? So for such people, they are just looking for someone that can meet their needs temporarily. But then you have the third set of people who are dating, or who go on a date because they are looking for a serious relationship. Serious in the sense that they are looking for a life partner, they are looking for a husband or a wife. Okay, they want someone they can build a home with, they want someone they can, journey together with in life. And for such people, a date is really a time to, get to know each other, and they know that you can't get to know each other without striking meaningful conversations. And striking meaningful conversation means that you have to ask questions that will help to open you up to the other person's world, okay? That is what a dating experience is for this set of people. And based on this, I'm going to state about 3 or 4 points that will guide you, in your own dating experience. One is this: start by defining your expectations clearly, okay? Whether you are being asked out on a date, or you are accepting to go out on a date with someone, you have to make sure that both of you are on the same page. What kind of date is it? I mean, are we just coming to have fun? Are we coming to, have conversations, to talk about ourselves, get to know ourselves really? Or are we just coming to have a nice time? Okay, be sure that both of you are on the same page, and that is going to help you. First of all, it's going to even help you to know if the person that you are going out on a date is the right person. And then it's also going to help to deflect any awkward situation from taking place during the dating experience, okay? Then secondly, expect the unexpected. Especially when it's the first date, you two don't know each other, so you don't expect things to go a particular kind of way, okay? As much as you pray and hope that nothing awkward happens, the truth is something awkward is likely going to happen. So just prepare for the unexpected, and when it happens, what you do is to learn to don't pretend, and don't even try to play smart. Just take it in first, okay? Take it in first, and then you can make it known to the person that you don't. For instance, the lady that was asked that question, you could say, well, I don't think we should talk about this now, okay? And the person may say, why not, why don't you want to talk about it now? Then you can say, if the reason is maybe that maybe you don't even know where you see yourself in the next 5 years, or maybe you don't want to talk about it at the moment, okay? But just let the person know. You can switch that conversation intelligently, not by trying to place my body. You can switch it intelligently by asking the person a different kind of question. Okay, can we talk about your job, or can we talk about what do you like to do with your free time? Just something, because one thing you don't want in a date is to is silence. I mean, a date is not somewhere you sit down and then eat and drink in silence. No. Okay, conversation. I mean, you want to make sure that the communication lines are open at every point during that dating experience. So get to ask questions that will help to make that conversations to keep flowing, or to keep the communication lines open. Then thirdly, you have to pace the conversation. During a date, you have to be attentive and sensitive. Try to study the flow of the conversation. Know where the conversation is going, so that you know what question to ask and when to ask it. The fact that you should ask questions doesn't mean that you should just pop out any question from nowhere. Okay, the questions have to be, they don't have to be interrogative. Okay, like the young lady, it doesn't have to seem like an interview. It just have to be a conversational kind of question. It has to have a conversational approach. You have to study the flow of the conversation. If, for instance, you guys are talking about your job and all of that, that may be a good time to say, wow, so where do you see yourself in that job in the next 5 years? Or that you get the point. So the flow of the conversation will help you to know what to ask, or the question to ask, and when to ask it. Then finally, you have to keep things in perspective. It is a date and not a bait. It's not a time for you to find something in someone that you're going to criticize. Okay, it's a time for you to get to know each other. And a date must not necessarily end in a serious relationship or romantic relationship, but it can end in other kinds of relationships. So you might want to keep things in perspective, and don't write someone off, don't judge, don't just take it as it comes. And if at the end of the day you can find that maybe the purpose of the date was not really for something serious to happen, but there are other ways or other things that you two can still do together. Okay, you may not be compatible for a romantic relationship, but you can still be compatible for other kinds of relationship. So these are the things I want to share with you, and I want to believe that you've gotten some value from it. Then I would like you to still share your thoughts with me as well. Let's talk more about this. And in the next broadcast, we're going to continue with our ongoing conversation on the myths of the mind. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you stay tuned. And until I come your way again next time, keep experiencing life now.